Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Monday, January 25th, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. This day in history, in 1959, American Airlines began transcontinental service using the Boeing 707 from the east coast of the U.S. to the west coast. We have a little bit of news that has come in since we put the issue to rest. Reinsurance magazine is reporting that last year's collapse of the Bahraini bank AWAL, A-W-A-L, might include exposure to a $5 million letter of credit, which was backed by Chaucer, Ace, Hiscox, and Beasley. The bank is now in receivership with the Bahraini authorities, so those insurers have some exposure to that. There was also an economic story from the U.S. Sales of U.S. existing homes dipped about 16.7% in the month of December. This is a drop from November to December. It's the largest decline on record, mainly attributable to the expiration of a popular tax credit for first-time home buyers. The stock market is up about 24 points right now, and we'll now go to our news for the day. And the news for the day is once again an airplane crash. An Ethiopian Airlines Boeing 737-800 of the type shown here, carrying a total of 90 people, crashed into the Mediterranean Sea just 5 minutes after takeoff from Beirut. It was in a middle of a heavy thunderstorm and heavy rain. Its destination was Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital. On board was the wife of the French ambassador to Lebanon. Thus far, apparently, some 30 bodies have been pulled from the sea. They have not found any survivors yet. Ethiopian Airlines has a solid safety record with highly regarded pilots. Unlike several other African airlines, it is allowed into European airspace. It's thought that Ace is the lead cover for the insurance policy. It's Ethiopian Airlines Flight 409, and it's also being reported by the Insurance Insider that Aon is the broker for the policy. The president of Lebanon says that he does not believe it was a terrorist attack. The hull value of the plane is not known, but it's thought to be in the region of $40 to $50 million. Again, it was a 737-800. It would be one of the later models. So we'll keep tracking that. In Baghdad, there was a coordinated strike of 3 truck bombs, killing at least 30 people. It took place within 10 minutes of each other. It struck near hotels down near in the Green Zone, the Sheraton and Palestine hotels and the Babil Hotel. The hotels are located outside the heavily fortified Green Zone, where many government agencies are. Ahmed Rushdie, a journalist in Baghdad, not the writer of the Satanic Verses, said that the hotels appeared to be the targets of the blast. These hotels, he said, are supposed to have major security because they were open for all the foreign journalists. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but the Iraqi Council of Ministers is blaming the blast on Al-Qaeda. In New Zealand, the upper North Island of the country, including the city of Auckland, was hit by a massive power outage today, affecting thousands of homes and businesses. This occurred late Monday, New Zealand time. The problem was caused by a fire in some very large trees near Hamilton and was compounded by a thunder and lightning storm. This is according to New Zealand radio. According to different reports, most of the country north of the city of Hamilton is without power. Radio New Zealand said the national grid operator expects that the situation will return to normal at about 0600 Greenwich Mean Time. That would have occurred already. We don't have any indication that that's happened, though. And in Texas, the Sabine-Neches waterway currently closed due to a large oil spill. You can see the oil spill cause here. This is a barge tearing a hole in the side of a tanker vessel, Eagle Otome. The Otome, which is the vessel on the top, was bound for ExxonMobil's Beaumont refinery. As a result of the spill, some 11,000 oil barrels spilled out. The Coast Guard is saying that 1,100 barrels have been recovered. This is an important waterway leading to refineries upriver. Coast Guard is saying that they expect that the waterway will open within 5 days. Upriver are refineries owned by Total, Royal Dutch Shell, Saudi Arabian Oil Company, and Valero Energy Corporation. They expect that by the time oil begins to be transported upriver at the end of 5 days, the refineries will just about be running out of oil required to be refined. So there should not be an interruption of service. Stock market remains up a little bit, about 23 and change. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
You may have already seen the demonstration of the CATEX Global Exchange in action. Some of the features of the exchange and our Pivot Point 2 software are especially useful to facultative and excess surplus lines brokers and markets. Here, we see the opening page of the contract workspace, which shows some of the details of a facultative risk as seen by the listing broker. Behind this opening page are screens which provide details of the contract of certificate, details on the parties or markets on the certificate, details of the exposures on the certificate, including aggregate data of the underlying risks, details on each of the insured risks, policy or certificate documents, including document templates, as well as automatic email links. This screen also provides links to details of the layers for brokers, the at-risk markets, premium information, policy accounting statements, the policy claims history, endorsements, and contract documents. The Pivot Point system is the backbone of the exchange platform. Pivot Point provides easy input of data as well as seamless structuring of the data into policy documents, accounting records, and statements, as well as underwriting criteria. The system allows brokers to focus their efforts on where they bring their clients the most value added, determining the appropriate layers and selecting the markets which are appropriate for the risk and layer. In these markets, timing and access to data are especially critical. For example, in a risk involving numerous properties, a broker will likely have a data file listing the properties subject to the risk. The system allows brokers to easily upload data files to the system. The exchange allows brokers to offer the risk and make sure the data are available only to markets authorized by the broker. The exchange software automatically converts the uploaded data to structured data. Markets which are interested in reviewing the risk can easily use the data to underwrite the risk. We are working on providing links to a third-party risk assessment firm which will be able to provide property-level risk of loss calculations. These are only some of the features which make the CATEX Global Exchange and our Pivot Point system especially useful to brokers and markets in the facultative and excess and surplus lines business. Please contact us for a demonstration of all the advantages you can get from the CATEX Global Exchange and the Pivot Point system. CATEX, an unfair advantage unless you are trading with us.
Ecuador's Superintendent of Banking and Insurance, Gloria Sabando, pictured here, decreed that 17 insurance companies operating in Ecuador should pay back over $19 million in premium to their customers. The ordered payment affects companies that operate in the country's mandatory motor coverage market. It represents a 30% credit against excessive premiums charged in 2009. The announcement will impact AIG, Allianz, Colonial, Olympus, Rocaforte, Unidos y Vaz, a number of others, Interoceana. Insurers have little ability to challenge the pronouncement and have already begun making arrangements to comply with the reimbursement requirement. That's some clout on Ms. Sabando's part. Hiscox has come out with some numbers. Bermuda domiciled insurer Hiscox has experienced average reductions of 5 to 7% in reinsurance rates during the January renewals. Hiscox notes that there was local variation depending on loss experience and that the decline, of course, had come from historically high rating levels in 2009. Hiscox added that the current rates, however, do continue to offer attractive margins. Hiscox said on the investment side, the return for 2009 was about 7.2%, increasing the value of the portfolio up to about $4.2 billion US. Hiscox will pay a second interim dividend